Hi guys, welcome to the review of the Nitecore i4 intellicharger. I've used this charger for about 4 to 5 months and I have to apologize for this, but I don't have any package, user manual or warranty card. But I can say it came in a nice package. It had a warranty card from Nitecore inside and a small user manual, but we have some information here in the back. First, we can see it's compatible with lithium-ion, nickel metal hydride batteries, for example AA, AAA Cs or 18650s, 26650s and so on. They're actually not on here, but they also fit in. The input is a wide range from 100 volts AC up to 240 volts AC, 50 and 60 Hertz, 10 watts input, and the output is DC 12 volts. The input could be also 12 volt DC at also 10 watts, which is the second plug for the standard 12 volt input, or then the 220 or the 110 AC. The output we have either the 4.2 for the lithium ion, or then the 1.48 volts for the nickel metal hydride. Next thing I want to show you is the operation of it. Usually I've used this for charging 18650s and 26650s primarily. This came with a US plug, which is not good in my case, but I can use an adapter for the EU plug, which I use in my country, which is Portugal. So I'm just going to plug this into the power line, which I have by side here. There we go, it's plugged in, and I'm just going to plug the E4 into the power. And what's going to happen is it's going to light up, as you can see. The first indication is the blue light you have here, which means it's up and running, it has power. And then we have, for each battery slot, we have 3 separate LEDs. Now let's see how they work. Let's plug in, for example, an 18650. So they go in quite, almost don't go in, but you can charge them. Now you can see the first thing he does, he blinks for a while, just at the first LED blinks, which means he is picking up what the battery is, at what state of charge it is, and then he shows up, now I'm charging, which is when all 3 light up, and now he's starting to charge it from the lowest, because this battery is actually quite empty, let's say. Let's take this battery out, and let's try it with a 26650, which has more charge in it. There we go again. It's blinking, it's showing up. Let me just put a AAA in, just to show the charging at the same time, because it takes quite long. Now we can see the 26650. He has recognized it's at about 4.1 volts, and it's just charging the last LED, which means it's almost full. What happens when the batteries are full? First, all the LEDs light up, and once all the LEDs turn off, this means you can take the battery out at that moment. So you can see that the AAA now charging, and it's also almost full. So the next thing about the charger I want to tell you, and this is something more negative, which I don't like too much, and it's the charging current. If I'm plugging in, for example, 4 lithium-ion cells, it's going to charge at a maximum current of 0.375 amps. This is quite low compared to other chargers which can charge up to 1 amp on each slot, even having 4 batteries inside. But the positive point of the charger is it's quite small. It's IntelliCharger, it recognizes everything. There is no knobs, there's no buttons, no knobs where you can adjusts anything, so it does it all by himself, and you can use any kind of battery basically. What I like about it is also the size, as I just said, because you don't have any external power supply. It all works in here, which means there doesn't need to be any extra transformer like an USB output or a 12 volt power plug like on other chargers, for example the SoShines. Let's go ahead and simply take this thing apart. What do you think? Let's go. Let's plug it out for safety. You can see the LED stays on for quite a while, but it slowly gets dimmer and then goes off. Now it's off. So let's go ahead and start to disassemble it. The first thing you're going to notice here in the back And just you can see it already has been used quite a while because it's full of scratches and everything. The first thing you need to do is you need to take these bumpers out, which are basically the small feet where the charger sits on, but they are just small squeezy rubber things which just give it a little bit of stabilization, and it doesn't move around, just gives it some kind of stand. I'm gonna take them on. They have a bit of glue on the bottom, and I have already opened this charger once because this version of the E4 sometimes has quite an issue with the sliding slots. After maybe 1 month maximum, I couldn't barely move them. With a battery or just with the hand, I couldn't barely move them. To get a battery in, what I would have to do is just with a lot of strength, just pull them down, and then somehow get the battery in from the side. I couldn't put the battery in like this. But now it works again, as I have greased it, but I'm going to show you how I did this. So let's open it. So guys, after untightening 4 screws, the whole thing is open. Now let's go ahead and see what's inside. So I'm taking off this plastic bag, we don't need it anymore, but just to tell you, when I grease it, I also put some grease in here, because this is where they drive along the sliders, okay? Let's put this aside, as we don't need it for now. Let's take a look at this. So first of all, you can see the sliders right here. Here are the sliders. These are all the negative poles. Very nice to notice. And as you can see here, also the sliders, I just greased them in. I used some silicone grease like I use for the O-rings, and then I just simply tried some WD-40, but it was not so good because it runs around. So use some silicone grease, some kind of grease you have which doesn't run, which is not really fluid. Otherwise, it might run around and even damage the electronics, but it shouldn't be a problem. I can see the controller board, it looks very nice. We have a small slot here for safety from the AC input, but I don't see any more divisions, but this doesn't have to be bad. Now I have to unscrew the board here. Here is at least one screw I need to unscrew. This is how it looks. Well, it's quite interesting. Interesting build. So the first thing, and I'm gonna put some macro shots in right now so you can take a look at them. The first thing I can see right now is the AC input, which is this big plug here, and the DC input. We go into AC input and we have right away a big, well, let's say a big transformer for the size of it. Then we have two nice big capacitors here, which are rated at 400 volts both. And we have a small IC chip here, an 8-pin chip. We have here the usual bridge rectifier, I guess this is. If the bridge rectifying is not down here, we also have two Schottky diodes down there, or similar. And then we can see here, this is probably all just the power transformation down to the 12 volts, which he would use here. Here we have the simple power LED, which is the blue LED up here. These look like these retro LEDs. Don't ask me why. Probably because they fit very well into the holes up here. We can see the holes. These are the holes where the LEDs fit in, and they probably fit in there perfectly, so they use them. What we can see is probably from this part of the board downwards, or let's say from this upper part is all the AC transformation, and maybe here some of the components. I'm not really into it, as you probably know from my videos, but you can see that this part at least is for the charging. This is the transformation. What we can see down here, we have a big IC, quite big IC actually, and we have some smaller diodes and all the stuff here for the regulation for the batteries. I can already see a little bit of corrosion on here, but this may be also, as I live close to the sea, sometimes it might have a little bit of salty water and it might result in this, but it's no issue at all. They are still very clean. Then we can see the springs. They are quite big, I have to say. You can see the negative contacts. They also have a little bit of of corrosion right here and right here like this ones, but this is just superficial corrosion. This is what it looks like. These are the positive poles which go in here, which go through these holes, and then we have the negative poles. You can see the big IC again here, and we can see all these LEDs, all these 12 LEDs, 12 yellow LEDs, which have their pins down here, their long pins down here. Okay, so what I can say right away looking by this is that these three, this 6, 6, 6 and these 6 are the yellow LEDs, and up here these two are probably the blue LEDs. Okay, you can see some very detailed SMD soldering, but the soldering looks good, looks to be well made. It's not really this shiny LED solder you would like to see on the parts, but it does its job. As I said, it's working for 4 or 5 months already, and there hasn't been any issues so far. Maybe it's also a little bit of just superficial corrosion which may have occurred. Well, it's just came loose. Very nice. But this controller board is just all I have to say about it. I'm not gonna plug it in right now. It's a little bit too dangerous for me, and I just simply won't do it. But this is what it looks like. Take a look at the macro shots, and I hope you enjoy the video. And well, let's see if I can get it back together again. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you a great day.